Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Hampton with the Hampton Law Firm. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today, I want to talk to you about DWI. Perhaps one of the most frequently asked questions that I received is, Jeff, how much does a DWI really cost? Like, if you pick up a DWI, what can you expect to pay monetarily, right? What is it going to cost me money-wise? And I'll be happy to answer that for you here today. And by the way, if you wait around to the end of this video, I'll also provide you a free ebook, The Ultimate Guide to DWI Defense in Texas. And if you like what you hear, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great content just like this. Okay, so you pick up a DWI in Texas. How much is it really going to cost you? Well, I mean, listen, a DWI, if you're convicted of it, is life-changing in many ways. Not to mention the criminal penalties for a DWI in Texas are very severe, but also you don't want to have this on your permanent criminal record because that can cost you monetarily for the rest of your life if it remains on your record. So, but when we start talking about the actual costs money-wise to fight a DWI, I think we have to first take a look at one of the things I always remember. Do you remember the billboard that used to be out there that everyone would see? And it was actually run by the Texas Department of Transportation. They ran a billboard campaign that started a number of years ago that said the average cost of a DWI, $17,000, right? That's what they said, $17,000. Well, I mean, look, this claim has largely been debunked. That's not necessarily the case, and sometimes it can cost a lot more than $17,000. Sometimes it can cost a lot less. So a DWI absolutely can and will cost you thousands of dollars, even with a good attorney, just by fighting it. But I want you to understand, Texas, number one, takes DWIs very seriously. It's amazing to me the differences between states. You can have a state like Massachusetts. The first couple of DWIs you get are minor. They're almost like just citations. You don't have to face a lot of the penalties that you have in Texas. But in Texas, right out of the gate, you're talking about an arrestable offense with very serious criminal and civil penalties. So what are some of the expectations of what you might find if you are convicted of DWI? Number one, if you're convicted, expect to pay court costs. Okay? Court costs can typically run you anywhere between $500 to $1,500. And that's just what you pay the court for showing up, right? That can run you in that range. Secondly, what about the criminal penalties? If it's a DWI first offense, you can pay up to a $2,000 fine. If it's a second offense, you can pay up to a $4,000 fine. If it's a third offense, up to a $10,000 fine. And DWI, child passenger, as well as intoxication, assault, or manslaughter, those can also carry all the way up to a $10,000 fine. Obviously, if you spend any time in jail, or if you're convicted, that'll affect your employment prospects. And I don't even have to speak about that. Everyone, I think, is aware of that. But it's important to know that that right there is a very serious monetary penalty to pay. So what about administrative penalties and fees? Here's the other part that kicks in. There's the Texas Driver Responsibility Program fee. If you are convicted of a DWI in Texas, I kind of call this the DWI tax, right? If your license is suspended, you end up paying, even if it's not suspended, you end up paying what they used to call them surcharges. Now it's just a penalty. You pay this fine. First-time offenders, it's at least $1,000 every year for 3 years. It's just a tax, literally, to keep your license. If it's a second-time offender, it can be $1,500 or more over a 3-year period each year, $1,500 a year. And then same thing, if your blood alcohol level, if you plead to a blood alcohol level of over 0.15, or if it's your third or more offense, they hammer you with $2,000 a year every year for 3 years. I mean, this stuff adds up, right? So you're talking about some pretty serious expenses. What if you get a probation? A typical probation in Texas can run you anywhere between 12 to 24 months. Sometimes you can get a better result than that, but the more serious the case, the longer. If it's a felony level, then you can get up to a 10-year probation. But you can expect anywhere between $60 to $100 a month in probation fees if you're on probation. Okay, So this adds up, just giving you some examples. If you have to take alcohol awareness education program, there is fees associated with that. For a first-time offender, it's $70. Repeat offenders are required to attend a more extensive program, which usually runs about $185 to $200. And then here's the big one everyone hates. Ignition interlock, right? What if you have to get an ignition interlock device on your vehicle? Well, that by itself carries a monthly fee of $70 to $100 a month, just by itself, just to have it installed. And many times, if you pick up a blood alcohol level over 0.15, or it's a second or more offense, it's mandatory just to get out of jail. They tell you, you got to go get it installed. And if you don't get it installed, you go back to jail. So finally, what about increased premiums for your insurance? If you're convicted of a DWI, one thing I can guarantee you is that your insurance provider is going to charge a higher premium. And then if you happen to have to if your vehicle was impounded, if you got one of these police officers who was kind of a jerk about it, decided to call a tow truck to come and tow your vehicle, already know what that cost. You're looking at $250 to $450, and typically impoundment fees are $20 to $50 a day. So I know this sounds depressing, right? You're sitting here listening to me going, wow, that 17,000 sounds like that was a low figure. But here's the thing to understand. It does matter who you hire as your attorney. Many of these specific costs can be negotiated down. Many of them you can save quite a bit more money, but with working with the right lawyer than by working with the wrong lawyer who doesn't push to try to do everything they can to negotiate you a good result. If you're facing a DWI or you know someone who is and you have questions about that DWI defense or these costs, don't hesitate to contact the Hampton Law Firm for a free case analysis at 817-877-5200. Once again, this is Jeff Hampton with the Hampton Law Firm, and I appreciate you joining us here today. I promised you also, if you waited around to the end of this video, I would give you a free ebook, Your Ultimate Guide to a DWI Defense in Texas. Click the link right down here below, input your email information. I'll be happy to send it right over to you. Thanks again for joining us. Look forward to seeing you next time.